Welcome back to another episode of Hawks Nest. I'm your host, Kaylee Davis, and today I'm joined with Owen Carando and Justin Trevelyan. We're going to go ahead and jump straight into SEMO men's basketball. Last night, they won against Tennessee State, 79-55, and this set them up to face off against Murray State again tonight. What do you think that the outcome of this game is going to be, Justin?
Kaylee, tonight I think the SEMO Redhawks are going to defeat Murray State. They had a dominating performance last night against Tennessee State, with beating them in every conceivable category. They had played really well team basketball. They had more assists. DQ Nicholas came off the bench and added 5 assists of his own and 10 points. Really got his teammates involved. The only critique I would say is they had 19 turnovers last night. So you're really going to have to cut down on the turnovers and take care of the ball if you want to beat Murray State.
Yeah, so
Justin,
Owen?
I can't even argue with you on that part. I mean, this is the first time they've been to the semifinals since 2005. So 17 years ago, they were in that position. And the last game they had against Murray State, there was a lot on line too. They were trying to spoil Murray, going perfect in the OVC. But you mentioned kind of that team play, and Manny Patterson has been a huge part of that. He had 19 points last night with 10 rebounds. And it gives this team an ability to score in the paint, so teams can't cheat and defend a three for this Redhawks offense.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then while we're on the subject of Manny Patterson, we want to give a quick shout out to him. Congratulations on your first 3 of your SEMO career. So congratulations, Manny. And then moving on to baseball, the team is 6-1 this year, coming off of a huge 16-5 win against St. Louis University. They open up a 3-game set today against Bradley University. Owen, what makes this team so good?
It's the combination of experience and offense. Javon Mason and Peyton Lieber, 1 and 2 in the lineup. Those guys are hitting at over 500, or not hitting at over 500%, but they're getting on base over 50% of the time. So that really sets the table for your 2-3 hitters of Tyler Wilbur and Andrew Keck to really drive them in. And they're doing a really good job of getting on top and scoring runs early and often. And this is a really good SEMO offense that we're seeing here this year, which makes them so good.
I totally agree. Justin, what do you think is going to happen with this game?
Well, as Owen mentioned, the offense is rolling. So I'm going to go ahead and say they're going to win all 3 games of their set against Bradley, and they're going to hit at least 6 home runs.
Okay. All right. And then moving on to softball, they lost 7-4 at Ole Miss on Wednesday. Owen, what does the team need to really focus on to win at Lipscomb this weekend?
They're really just trying to find their footing right now. I mean, this is a young team who's brought in some new pieces, and they're kind of mixing and matching things. So try to find out what works for them. They're trying to find that second starting pitcher behind Rachel Rook that's really going to help them win games this year. And as I mentioned, they are playing some of the tougher teams that they're going to face right now. So as they get later on in the season, towards the middle of the season, into the OVC regular season play, I think this team is going to be in pretty good shape to defend their OVC title.
I completely agree. The team was picked to win the OVC, but they currently sit at 6-5, so they're going to be looking to climb back over the 500 mark this weekend. And then moving on to OVC news, the OVC is expanding. They're going to be losing a couple of schools, Murray State, Belmont, as well as Austin Peay, and those schools are going to be replaced with University of Arkansas Little Rock, Southern Indiana, and Lindenwood University. The OVC has also formed an alliance with the Big South Conference for football, and this is going to begin in the school year 2023. How are these schools going to fare in the OVC with all of these changes?
Well, as far as SEMO goes, I think they're going to have an easier time in the OVC, given that teams like Murray State and Belmont are going to be leaving, and these teams coming in are going to they're going to struggle at first moving to a new conference. That's always going to be tough, so they don't have the recruitment like all the other OVC schools have. So as far as SEMO stands, I would say they're going to have an easier time.
I completely agree. And Owen, what does this mean for the OVC in general?
I mean, it really kind of centralizes the OVC. For SEMO, they don't have to travel 2, 3, 4, 5 hours to play a conference match now, with Lindenwood being in St. Louis and Little Rock, Arkansas being a little bit closer than some of the other teams like Eastern Kentucky and other teams that they've faced in the past when they were in the OVC. So really, we're kind of looking at centralizing things, but as Justin said, losing Murray State, losing Belmont, and losing Austin Peay, I mean, you kind of almost lose what really made people respect the OVC in terms of good teams and basketball and football and baseball wise.
I agree. Yeah. And then moving on to our special shout outs. Congratulations to the tennis team for their two wins against William Wood University. And also be on the lookout for the SEMO Gymnastics. They're heading to Shreveport, Louisiana to compete in a dual meet tonight. This was another episode of Hawks Nest. I'm your host, Kaylee Davis. Join us next week for another episode. Thank you.